Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 1 hour. Second round of 2024 French snap elections on Sunday. Polls to elect MPs in 501 constituencies. National rally set to be the biggest party in Parliament. Indian Parliament's budget session to begin from 22nd of this month. Union budget to be presented the next day. India's President Draupadi Murmu is in the Indian eastern state of Odisha to witness the world-famous Rathyatra in Puri. And in Euro 2024, England score all of their spot kicks to beat Switzerland 5-3 in penalties to make their way into the semis. Netherlands win 2-1 against Turkey in the other quarter-final. France will vote for the second round of its snap parliamentary elections on Sunday. Polling began in one of the most significant elections, with the far right hoping for a historic victory, but political stalemate is more likely. Parties across the political spectrum urged French voters to vote massively to tilt the outcome either ways, as opinion polls forecast the far right would be the largest party, but fall short of an absolute majority. Marine Le Pen's Eurosceptic anti-immigration national rally topped the parliamentary elections' first round with a third of the vote, opening the prospect of a far right leading a French government for the first time since World War II. But after a subsequent series of tactical withdrawals of candidacies from mainstream parties aimed at boosting whoever is best placed to beat the far right, several surveys have projected a drop in the number of seats the party could win, making an absolute majority even harder to reach. Sunday's legislative elections in mainland France will be decisive, with parties fighting to steal votes from a strong far-right force. Also, voters in France's overseas territories and living abroad started casting ballots on Saturday in parliamentary runoff elections that could hand an unprecedented victory to the nationalist far right. The far-right national rally is set to be the biggest party in Parliament based on the polls ahead of the second round of French general election on Sunday. If they win an outright majority, France would have its first far-right government since the Second World War. But rival parties on the left and the centre hope their voters come together to block the national rally's path to power. DD India correspondent Ross Cullen gets us more.
France is in uncharted territory. Following the first round of the snap general election, the far-right National Rally Party is now the dominant political force in the country, even if they do not secure an outright majority in the upcoming second round. Jordan Bardella, who is of Italian and Algerian descent, represents the new face of the National Rally. He's 28 years old, was raised by a single mother, and is popular on TikTok. But for Jordan Bardella to be Prime Minister, in the event that the far right wins an absolute majority, there would have to be a so-called cohabitation agreement of power sharing between him and the anti-far right centrist President Macron. And Emmanuel Macron's once powerful Renaissance party is fading from view, projected to come third in the second and final vote. The leftist coalition, the New Popular Front, came second in the first round of voting. Its politicians have ambitions of their own for the runoffs. Despite four parties jostling for space under one umbrella, the alliance aims to create an upset, win a majority, and install a left-wing prime minister. Although the financial markets rallied after the first round election results pointed towards a hung parliament, the political climate in France remains tense, with the potential for anti-nationalist demonstrations if the far right do take power. Ross Cullen in Paris, reporting for DD India.
All right, let's turn focus to Israel-Hamas crisis. Now, hopes for a ceasefire in Gaza have risen further after reports that Hamas has given its initial approval of a new US-backed proposal for a phased deal. Now, according to reports, Hamas has dropped a key condition that no longer requires Israel to pledge a definitive end to the conflict as a prerequisite for a temporary halt in the hostilities. According to the Israeli Prime Minister's office, an Israeli delegation will be dispatched to the Qatari capital, Doha, next week to negotiate on the ceasefire deal with Hamas. Since the latest round of the conflict, Israeli government and Hamas have held multiple rounds of indirect talks on the ceasefire, but so far negotiations have failed to produce concrete results due to the disagreements over each other's conditions. In the Russia-Ukraine conflict, Moscow claims more gains on the battlefield in Ukraine, with the Ministry of Defense saying that it has improved its position in the Donetsk direction. Ukraine says multiple Russian attacks killed at least 7 people and wounded more than 24 others. Darsha Chernishova is in Moscow with more details.
The Russian armed forces have taken control over the settlement of Sokol in the Donetsk People's Republic, the Ministry of Defense said on Saturday. It also said that Ukraine lost over 2,000 servicemen over the past day. The Russian Ministry of Defense says it hit the oil refineries and fuel storage facilities that supplied the Ukrainian military, as well as aviation weapons warehouses. Russian officials also said that Ukrainian attacks have completely destroyed at least 6 private houses in the Belgorod region. In Russia's southern Krasnodar region, Ukrainian drones attacked oil refineries. No casualties have been reported. In the meantime, Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban, who paid a visit to Moscow on Friday, said the conflict in Ukraine may lead to the division of the world into blocs. Orban's call for peace in Ukraine was supported by Slovakian Prime Minister Robert Fico, who said that the conflict in Ukraine has no military solution. The media reported on Saturday that Orban will make several more unexpected visits next week. Dasha Chernishova in Moscow, reporting for DD India.
14 people were killed in a motor accident when an oil truck collided with a mini bus on Saturday in western Ukraine. The sole survivor from the accident was in a serious condition and is being treated for her injuries. The video from the scene showed firefighters cutting through the vehicle's exterior and a child's toy among debris on the ground. All right, on to UK now. Voters elected the largest ever number of ethnic minority MPs to the House of Commons on Thursday, a reflection of more minorities becoming involved in politics as well as political parties seeking to reflect the people they represent. Here's more from Ollie Barrett.
The UK's Parliament is due to reconvene on Tuesday, July the 9th, and when it does, it will be with an ethnically and gender diverse makeup of MPs. Black, Asian and ethnic minority lawmakers will, according to an initial study, make up 13% of MPs in the House of Commons. That's up from 10% after 2019's election, and it takes it to its highest level ever. It is still below the overall population, though, which is at around 18% Black, Asian and minority in terms of the percentage makeup of the overall population in England and Wales, according to the latest data. There will be 242 women MPs. That's up from 220 after the general election of 2019. The diversity in Parliament is not reflected in the cabinet of Keir Starmer overall. That said, he has chosen Britain's first ever female Chancellor of the Exchequer in Rachel Reeves. Overall in Parliament, there are around 25 MPs who've been elected at the general election this time around who have a family background connection links to India of some sort. Ollie Barrett in London, reporting for DD India.
Britain wants a balanced position on the conflict in the Middle East, according to its new Foreign Minister, David Lammy. Lammy further said that Britain will use diplomatic efforts to ensure a ceasefire is reached and hostages held by Hamas are released. Lamy is on a visit to Germany, his first international trip following the Labour Party's thumping victory in Britain's election on Friday, which ended 14 years of Conservative government and propelled Keir Starmer to power as Prime Minister.
I want to get back to a balanced position on Israel-Gaza. We've been very clear that we want to see a ceasefire, and we have been calling for that since the end of last year. We want to see those hostages out. The fighting has to stop. The aid has got to get in, and I will use all diplomatic efforts to ensure that we get to that ceasefire.
U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris, the top choice to replace Biden if he were to step aside as the Democratic Party's standard bearer, spoke in New Orleans at the Essence Festival of Culture, an annual culture and music festival sponsored by Essence magazine. Harris attacked former President Donald Trump and the U.S. Supreme Court for taking away abortion rights.
This is probably the most significant election of our lifetime. You know, we have said it every 4 years. But this here one is it. We are looking at an election that will take place in 122 days.
122.
Where on one side, you have the former president who is running to become president again, who has openly talked about his admiration of dictators and his intention to be a dictator on day one, who has openly talked about his intention to weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies, who has talked about being proud of taking from the women of America a most fundamental right to make decisions about your own body.
You're watching DD India News Hour. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, after wreaking havoc in the Gulf of Mexico, Tropical Storm Beryl expected to reach Texas by late Sunday. After witnessing how life could be on Mars, a crew of 4 people and more than a year confined in a NASA simulator designed to replicate life on Mars. Ruins of a 4,000-year-old temple discovered in the desert city of Zana in Peru.
Welcome to Lakshadweep, the land of 100,000 islands, the aquatic wonderland of India, an archipelago of spectacular marine gems, colorful coral and crystal clear lagoons, a kaleidoscope of turquoise blue. Each island of Lakshadweep draws in explorers with its unique beauty. Witness idyllic sunsets and pristine beaches of Kavarati, the majestic lighthouse and colorful boat races at Minikoi. Experience water sports in the shallow lagoons of Kadmat. Unwind in the serene setting of Bangaram. Lakshadweep offers a precious heritage of ecology and culture, with rhythmic beats of folk dances echoing through these islands, delighting visitors in traditional folk dances and local artworks with abundant marine life and mineral resources. The islands are advancing towards a greener, brighter future. Lakshadweep is set to amaze visitors with its breathtaking wonders and picturesque seascapes. In the enduring spirit of incredible India.
Always welcoming.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Let's get you more international updates. Armenia and the United States will hold joint military exercises in Armenia from July 15th to July 24th. The Eagle Partner 2024 exercise will focus on tasks related to peacekeeping missions, and such drills with partner countries are regular. Armenia has seen its ties with Moscow sour in the recent years. Though Armenia remains a treaty ally of Russia, it has said repeatedly that it does not support Moscow's conflict in Ukraine and has sent humanitarian aid to Kyiv, drawing Russia's ire. Thousands of residents gathered in central Barcelona to protest against mass tourism, saying it has pushed the cost of rent and made the city unsustainable for people living there. The demonstrators carried banners and chanted slogans highlighting the adverse effects of tourism on their daily lives. Many locals expressed frustration over how the booming tourism industry has prioritized short-term rental accommodations, driving up housing prices and displacing long-term residents. Niger, Mali and Burkina Faso, three military-led West African states, signed a confederation treaty on Saturday, underscoring their determination to chart a joint course outside the regional political and economic bloc that has been urging them to return to democratic rule. The signing took place at the first summit of the Alliance of Sahel States, that is AES, and signals an ever closer alignment between the neighbors in the insurgency-torn Central Sahel. Formalizing the treaty to establish a confederation confirms the rejection by Niger, Mali and Burkina Faso of the 15-member Economic Community of West African States, that is ECOWAS. Its signing comes a day before the summit being held by ECOWAS, which had hoped to persuade the three to reconsider their decision in January to quit the bloc. In a communique issued after the summit, the countries said that they had agreed to coordinate diplomatic actions, create an AES investment bank and stabilization fund, and pool their resources to set up projections in strategic sectors including mining, energy and agriculture. The heads of the state welcomed their irrevocable withdrawal without delay from ECOWAS, it said. Rival Sudanese political factions formally attended reconciliation talks in Cairo on Saturday, the first since a conflict in the country began almost 15 months ago, but admitted that there was little prospect of quickly ending the war. During the conference, the Democratic Bloc, which is aligned with the army, refused to hold joint sessions with Takadum faction, which it accuses of sympathizing with the Rapid Support Forces. Neither the army nor the RSF attended. While Egypt was able to wield its influence to assemble the group, the main attendees were seated at opposite sides of the hall at the conference's opening. The two political factions agreed only to form a small subcommittee to come up with a final communique calling for an end to the war. Finance Minister Jibril Ibrahim, along with Darfur Governor Mini Minawi and Sovereign Council Deputy Malik Agar, did not sign the communique. He added that an end to the war was not realistic without the withdrawal of RSF from the civilian areas. U.S. Special Envoy Tom Perello said that he hoped the momentum from Saturday's talks would carry on to another meeting called by the African Union next week, another of several overlapping initiatives. Iran's President-elect Masoud Pezeshkian on Saturday attended the first gathering as the president. Pezeshkian, the sole moderator in the original field of 4 candidates, won Friday's runoff presidential vote against former nuclear negotiator Saeed Jalili. He will replace hardline President Ibrahim Raisi, who was killed in a helicopter crash in May.
I consider your vote as a heavy responsibility on my shoulder, and I pledge to continue to be a listening ear for your words and a voice for the voiceless and rejected.
A crew of 4 people is now free to return to normal life after spending more than a year confined in a NASA simulator designed to replicate life on Mars. The crew entered the 1,700 square foot enclosure back on June 25, 2023. During the project, the volunteers participated in simulated spacewalks, experiments and other activities intended to take place on the Martian surface. On Saturday, the crew walked out of their 3D printed dome to applause at a facility at NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston. Let's get to weather updates now. Heavy rain has hit parts of the U.S. state of Texas as Tropical Storm Beryl is set to make landfall by Monday. Roads in the state capital, Houston, were waterlogged on Saturday following heavy rainfall. Also, parts of Houston have been forecast to receive 5 to 10 inches of rainfall on Monday and Tuesday. Residents of Corpus Christi in Texas stocked up on gas, food and water and put storm shutters on buildings as Tropical Storm Beryl rolled across the Gulf of Mexico. Beryl appeared likely to reach Texas by late Sunday after its strong winds and heavy rain largely spared Mexico's top beach destinations. The core of the storm, downgraded from a hurricane, crossed the Yucatan Peninsula with its maximum wind speeds slowing to around 105 kilometers per hour after striking near the coastal beach resort of Tulum in the morning. Beryl is forecast to become a hurricane again on Sunday or Sunday night before making landfall on the Texan coast. California National Guard rescued trapped firefighter from basin fire. California wildfire triggered extensive evacuation orders. Damage assessments raised the number of destroyed structures. Forecasters said that the heat and fire risk were expanding on the west coast. The basin fire in Sierra National Forest started on June 26 and now more than 18,000 hectares have been burned. Around 5,700 residents were relocated after waters breached a dike at China's second largest lake following heavy rainfall. Heavy rainfall pounded parts of Hunan province earlier this week, causing the Milou River in Pingjiang County to swell to its highest in 70 years. Extreme weather conditions were also seen in Heze, Shandong province with a 10-minute tornado seen passing through and resulting in 1 death and 79 injuries. Local authorities responded by activating the maximum emergency response level. Heavy monsoon rain has battered Nepal, killing at least 47 people as per the officials on Friday. Incessant rainfall has also triggered flash floods, landslides and lightning strikes in Nepal. According to Nepal's government, the total death toll has reached 47. Severe flooding in the capital city of Kathmandu inundated streets, rendering homes and vehicles underwater, forcing residents to wade through brown floodwater to go about their daily tasks. All right, let's take a look at other stories making it to the headlines from across the world. Archaeologists have discovered the ruins of a 4,000-year-old temple in the sandy desert district of Zana in Peru. The team also found skeletal human remains, which may have been offerings for religious rituals. This significant find sheds light on ancient religious practices in the region. Alongside the temple ruins, the team also uncovered skeletal human remains, as we told you, were believed to have been offerings for religious rituals. The annual festivities of Spain's San Fermin Festival began with the lighting up of Chipinazo firecracker in the city of Pamplona. The festival spans from July 6 to July 14th. Renowned for its running of the bulls, where participants run ahead of a group of bulls through the city streets. Thousands of people dressed in traditional white outfits with red scarves gather to witness the launch of the firecracker and celebrate the beginning of this historic and culturally significant event. Coral bleachings devastate Bali reefs as sea temperatures rise. Indonesian conservationists have been working for 16 years to preserve coral on the reefs of Bali, but the frequency of mass coral bleachings is now devastating. 90% of the corals Sugarto had nurtured on the reefs near his village in Bondalim in northern shore of Bali lost their color last December. Experts call it a deep shock as many planted corals were negatively affected. Turkey's residents witnessed a spectacular meteor blazing across the sky on Friday night. The meteor blazed green and blue as it made its way across the horizon, leaving a trail of bright sparks. Moulin Rouge can dancers dazzled all as the iconic Parisian cabaret unveiled its newly lit windmill dances. Now, the grand event combined the vibrant energy of the can with the stunning illumination of the windmill, a symbol of the historic venue. Now, the dancers, adorned in their colorful costumes, performed their high-kicking routines to the delight of the crowd, celebrating the spirit and tradition of the Moulin Rouge. You're watching DD India News. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, delivery of 35,000 sets of AK-203 assault rifles to the Indian Army marks the completion of the first phase of India-Russia joint venture. Amarnath Yatra resumes after temporary suspension on Saturday due to heavy rainfall. It's a treat for book lovers in Chennai. Neyveli Book Fair 2024 begins showcasing a diverse selection of books and periodicals.
Voice of a rising aspirational world. Stories of challenges, struggles and accomplishment. A world battling conflict, hunger and poverty. Embracing growth, development, science and technology. A voice of progress, a voice of unity. Watch Voice of the Global South with me, Akshay Dongre, only on DD India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Let's take a relook at the top stories once again. Second round of 2024 French snap elections on Sunday. Polls to elect MPs in 501 constituencies. National rally set to become the biggest party in parliament. Indian Parliament's budget session to begin from 22nd of this month. Union budget to be presented the next day. India's President Draupadi Murmu in the eastern state of Odisha to witness the world-famous Rathyatra in Puri. And in Euro 2024, England score all of their spot kicks to beat Switzerland 5-3 in penalties to make their way into the semi-finals. Netherlands win 2-1 against Turkey in the other quarter-final. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to leave for Russia on Monday to hold talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin for the 22nd India-Russia Annual Summit. It will be Prime Minister Modi's first trip to Russia since Moscow launched its military offensive in Ukraine. The visit is also following Prime Minister Modi's re-election for a third consecutive term. Prime Minister Modi last visited Russia in 2019 for an economic forum in far eastern port of Vladivostok. He last travelled to Moscow in 2015. As we told you, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to visit Russia's capital Moscow for the first time since 2015. His previous visit to that country was in 2019 when he travelled to Vladivostok. He last met Russia's leader Vladimir Putin 2 years ago at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in Uzbekistan. Jessica Taneja gets us more.
India and Russia maintain deep economic and political ties that have remained resilient despite the constantly shifting geopolitical landscape. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit will be closely monitored globally, not only for its bilateral outcomes on economic and military ties, but also the anticipated discussions between the two leaders regarding the Ukraine conflict. India will continue advocating for dialogue and diplomacy to resolve the impasse. India's foreign policy is grounded in the principle of strategic autonomy, bolstered by a long-standing partnership with the Soviet Union and later Russia. This relationship has supported India through critical periods, providing defense supplies, assistance during wars, cooperation in nuclear energy, fossil fuels, and the Kashmir issue. Since 2010, the India-Russia Special and Privileged Strategic Partnership has expanded beyond traditional military and energy sectors. It is built on a strong historical foundation and often sustained by necessities. Recognizing its growing international role, Russia has backed India's membership in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and called for United Nations Security Council reforms to include India. India values Russia as a crucial partner in its multi-alignment strategy, where New Delhi refrains from forming exclusive alliances with any major power, thereby maintaining productive strategic partnerships with multiple countries. In December last year, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar visited Moscow and held talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin. During his 5-day visit, 3 agreements were signed which included documents related to the Kundakalam nuclear power plants, a memorandum of understanding on pharmaceutical and healthcare cooperation, and a protocol on foreign office consultations. The Kremlin remains a significant geopolitical power that can help balance India's strategic concerns. It continues to offer diplomatic support to India in the UN Security Council and wields substantial influence in its broader continental neighborhood. Jessica Taneja for DD India.
An India-Russia joint venture that was set up to produce the AK-203 assault rifles has completed its first phase with the delivery of 35,000 sets to the Indian Army and the facility at North Indian city of Amethi. It is now equipped to produce the rifles in large numbers. The Kalashnikov AK-203 assault rifle is a version of the AK-200 rifle. The AK-203s are manufactured in India in compliance with exclusive Russian technologies on certified equipment. Now, this ensures high product quality and compliance with the stated characteristics. More than 700,000 rifles are to be manufactured in India as part of the joint venture. Indo-Russia Rifles Private Limited, established between the Indian Ordnance Factory Board, Kalashnikov Concern and Rosboron Expert, both subsidiaries of the Rostec State Corporation. Production in India-based units started last year. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had inaugurated the factory in 2019. Indian Parliament's budget session is set to begin from July 22nd and will run till August 12. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju on Saturday announced that the Indian budget for the financial year 2024-25 will be tabled in the Lok Sabha on July 23rd. India's eastern state of Odisha's pilgrim city, Puri, is hosting Lord Jagannath's majestic Rathyatra festival on Sunday. All preparations have been made for the grand cultural festival of the deity. The servitors of the Sri Mandir, the abode of Lord Jagannath, his elder brother Lord Balbhadra and Devi Subhadra on Saturday performed the Agyan Mala, a ritual to garland as symbol of permission for the three chariots ahead of the Rathyatra. The popular Rathyatra is a time when the deities come out of the temple and embark on a 9-day journey to their aunt's place. President Draupadi Murmu will witness the annual Lord Jagannath Rath Yatra in Odisha's Puri on Sunday. India's President Draupadi Murmu extended her greetings on the occasion of Rath Yatra on social media platform X. She wrote, and I quote her, "On the occasion of the world-famous Rath Yatra of Lord Jagannath, I extend my heartfelt best wishes to all the countrymen. Today, countless Jagannath lovers from all over the country and the world are eagerly waiting to see the three forms of Bhagavat seated on the chariot. On the occasion of this great festival, I pray to Mahaprabhu Sri Jagannath for everyone's happiness, peace and prosperity. Hail Jagannath," she said. President Draupadi Murmu is in Odisha to witness the annual Rath Yatra festival in Puri. And sharing a video on the annual Jagannath Rath Yatra on X, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi also extended his greetings on the start of the sacred Rath Yatra. He also wrote, and I quote him, "We bow to Mahaprabhu Jagannath and pray that his blessings constantly remain upon us." Union Home Minister Amit Shah offered his prayers at Lord Jagannath Temple in Ahmedabad, the largest city in the state of Gujarat. Amit Shah, who was on a visit to the state of Gujarat, performed the rituals in the wee hours on Sunday, along with his wife, on the occasion of annual Rath Yatra. All right, DD India correspondent Ashutosh Mishra joins us from Bhubaneswar. Ashutosh, we know how grand this occasion is, and I'm sure the beach location of Puri is all decked up. Get us more as to what are the preparations put in place, what do you witness around you, the general excitement, the enthusiasm. We also tell our viewers that President Draupadi Murmu is also there to witness the annual Rath Yatra.
Yes, absolutely. Rathyatra, today is Rathyatra. This is the biggest, most important religious event as far as state's calendar is concerned, and the whole state is drenched in religious fervor. And this Rathyatra is unique in the sense this is after a long, long time that chariots will be pulled on 2 days because two special rituals, Netrotsav and Snan Purnima, they are falling on the same day along with Rath Yatra. So chariots will be pulled on 2 days. So this is a very, very important event and really it's devotional frenzy that we are witnessing. President Draupadi Murmu, of course, will be there. She is there. She has already extended her greetings to the people of the state. Prime Minister has extended his greetings. The President will be there along with the Chief Minister of the state. And this is the first yatra that is taking place on the watch of the new BJP government. So they are pulling out all stops to ensure that this is a great event and grand event. And you know, the atmosphere is electric. And it is always electric when Rath Yatra takes place, you know, because devotional fervor, it reaches frenzied heights. So this is the same this time. The chariots are all decked up. They are ready to roll. Mantras are being chanted. Songs are being sung. People are dancing. People are singing. The atmosphere is absolutely electric.
All right, the atmosphere is absolutely electric. But then for the benefit of our viewers, Ashutosh, I would want you to explain to them the historical, the religious significance of the Rath Yatra.
Yeah, the most important, the most significant thing about Rath Yatra is, you know, everybody cannot see the Lord and his siblings inside the 12th century Jagannath temple. It is only on this day that the deities come out. They ascend their chariots and the chariots roll on the grand road. So this is an occasion when Lord comes out to meet everybody. He is everybody's Lord. So he comes out, he meets everybody, anybody can see him, anybody can pay obeisance to him. So this is the grand occasion. And you know, this journey of 2.5 kilometers from 12th century Jagannath temple to Sri Gundicha temple where the deities were born, you know. This is a very, very significant journey. And the Rath Yatra is a 9-day affair. After 9 days, the return Rath Yatra takes place. So that is the importance of the Rath Yatra, that Lord himself comes out to meet the people, to meet the devotees. They may belong to any caste, they may belong to any religion, but he is there to meet everyone.
All right, Ashutosh, we'll leave it here. Thank you so much for joining in with those details from Bhubaneswar. All right, let's now turn focus to the Amarnath Yatra, which resumed on Sunday after being temporarily suspended from both Pahalgam and Baltal routes to the Holy Cave Shrine on Saturday due to heavy rainfall. Weather is cloudy, but track is through today. The Holy Shrine is located at an altitude of 12,756 feet above the sea level. Over 1 lakh pilgrims have offered prayers at the Holy Shrine since the Yatra officially commenced on June 29th from the twin base camps in the valley. The 52-day-long annual Yatra, in fact, will conclude on August 19. And police officials neutralized 4 unidentified militants in an ongoing gunfight in India's South Kashmir's Kulgam district on Saturday. 2 Indian soldiers are also martyred in the twin anti-terror operation as it is underway in Madargam and Fizal Chinigam areas of Kulgam since Saturday afternoon. Police said culmination of operation will take some more time. It is believed that the terrorists belonged to Hizbul Mujahideen terror outfit. All right, Shabir Dar is connected with us and he'll spell out more details. Shabir, we tell our viewers that Amarnath Yatra resumed after a brief suspension because of bad weather. Get us the latest on how is the weather today. We tell our viewers that, the weather is cloudy, but get us more on the progression of the Yatra.
Yeah, the weather has improved from yesterday. Yesterday it was raining on the track and the authorities had to take a call to suspend the Yatra. But this morning, as the weather has improved, it is still cloudy, but it has improved to the level that the authorities can take a call to let the Yatra go towards the Holy Cave. You know, in the last 9 days of the Yatra, about 1.6 lakh Yatris have performed the darshan of the Holy Cave. And last day, despite the rainfall, about 7,000 Yatris who are stationed at the last stop of the Yatra, last transit camp, they were allowed to actually perform the darshan yesterday. Today also, about 8 lakh, about 8,000 people were allowed to move ahead, and the yatra is going on. The 10th batch of yatris, about 6,000 people have left Jammu towards Srinagar, and the people who are stationed in the transit camps, they'll be let go towards the track as day progresses.
All right, Shabir, also, could you get more on the encounter that we've just told our viewers about? 4 militants were killed, 2 soldiers have been martyred. We tell our viewers that the operation was continuing. Get us the latest on that.
Yeah, the encounter is actually going on in 2 places in South Kashmir. One is the Motorgam village, where yesterday afternoon the encounter broke out when security forces got a tip off that the terrorists are holed up in a house. They went there, and in the result, one soldier got injured who later succumbed to his injuries in the hospital. In another encounter in Chinigam Thisal area, 4 terrorists have been gunned down by the security forces in a late night encounter. So the identity of the people, these terrorists are to be ascertained. And I will add here that it is 5 terrorists who have been gunned down in two encounters. One in Chenigam, 4 terrorists have been gunned down, and in Motorgam, 1 terrorist has been gunned down, as confirmed by the police to us. So total 5 terrorists in 2 encounters, and 2 soldiers, martyred in these encounters. The progress of the operation is going on. Security forces are leaving no stone unturned to ensure that no hold-up terrorists, flees the spot. The search operation and combing operation is going on.
Right.
The identity of the slain terrorists is yet to be ascertained. It will be, as the police says, the identity will be, disclosed once the operation.
All right. So the encounter is still progressing. It is still on. We'll leave it here. Thank you, Shabir. We'll come back to you again once the encounter ends. So that was our correspondent Shabir Dar joining us and telling us more about the resumption of the Amarnath Yatra and the gunfight in Kulgam. And also, Indian Union Minister Amit Shah and the Indian Army paid tribute to the golden Indian warrior Vikram Batra on his martyrdom day. On this day, we honor the memories of Captain Vikram Batra, a true hero and an inspiration to countless Indians. Captain Batra, a Paramveer Chakra awardee, displayed unparalleled bravery and selflessness during the Kargil War of 1999. Today, we salute his sacrifice and pledge to remember his valor and commitment to the nation. His story will continue to inspire future generations to serve their country with the same zeal and honor. The Indian Navy's P-81 aircraft arrived at the U.S. state of Hawaii for the 29th Rim of the Pacific Exercise 2024 on Saturday. 29 nations, 40 ships, 3 submarines and over 150 aircraft are engaged in the multinational exercise that began on 27th of June. The RIMPAC 2024 is aimed towards enhanced cooperation and joint operability. The Indian Met Department has warned of heavy rainfall activity over Kerala during the next 4 days. Also, a cyclonic circulation over East Central Bay of Bengal now lies over West Central Bay of Bengal off South Andhra Pradesh coast. Under its influence, widespread rainfall activity with isolated heavy rainfall is very likely to occur till Friday. IMD has issued red alert for heavy rains in Uttarakhand on Sunday and orange alert for Maharashtra, Karnataka, Odisha and Uttar Pradesh. The weather agency also warned of isolated heavy rainfall over Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, East Rajasthan, Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Meghalaya. Also, weather in the National Capital Region remains pleasant. The flood situation in Assam has worsened as 6 more deaths have been reported in the state, bringing the death toll to 58. The condition remains worrisome as more than 2 million people are affected in 29 districts and are reeling under the deluge. 218 persons were evacuated on Saturday. IMD issued warning of isolated heavy to very heavy rainfall in Assam and Meghalaya on July 9th and 10th. Also, the IMD has forecast isolated heavy to very heavy rainfall in Arunachal Pradesh from July 8th to 11th. The Brahmaputra River and 10 other rivers are flowing above the danger level. Subina Roy is joining us to get us more from Dibrugarh. Subina, we've told how how severe the situation is in Assam. You tell us, how has the day begun today? And also, we've given a broad outline of the damages in the state. You get us more on that. And how is the Met Department predicting weather in the coming few days?
Good morning, Preeti. The situation out here is still critical. As you know, IMD has predicted heavy rainfalls for Assam and Meghalaya for 9, 10, 10th, and for Arunachal Pradesh on 8 to 10th of July. So the situation here still remains grim, because when it rains in Arunachal Pradesh, since it flows here, it comes to Assam, since it is the catchment area. The position of the state is such that the waters from Arunachal and the course of Brahmaputra comes over to Assam. So that is why it is the danger-prone area, flood-prone area. So if we talk about the people who remain affected, over 23 lakh people remain affected. The situation had improved this Saturday. However, IMD predicts heavy rainfall situation might worsen in the coming days. Talking about the latest Saturday bulletin report of FDMA, which says that yesterday 6 lives were lost due to flood-related issues, and taking the death toll to 58 in this wave of flood. Talking about the are flowing above danger level. Brahmaputra at Niyamati Ghat, Jorhat, Tejpur, Guwahati, Dhubri is flowing above danger level, and 9 other rivers which are tributaries of Brahmaputra are flowing above danger level, like the Buri, Dihing, Kwang, Sitang, Jiko, Barak, then Kushiara in Karimganj, Kopili. These are the rivers which are flowing above danger level. Now, talking about the rescue relief, the NDRF and SDRF are working day or night on a war footing basis to save people from flood-affected areas and bringing them to safe areas and rescue camps. Yesterday, the Union Home Minister had called up the Assam to take stock of the flood situation, and he has assured that full assistance, flood assistance, will be given.
All right. All right, Sabina, thank you for joining in with those details from Assam. And now we take a look at other stories making it to the headlines from across India. The Jammu and Kashmir Forest Department undertakes a significant initiative to revitalize forests in the Udhampur district. As part of this effort, they have planted 1,100,000 trees. This massive tree plantation drive aims to restore the ecological balance, improve air quality in the region. This initiative by the department represents a step towards environmental sustainability. Chennai is eagerly participating in the Neyveli Book Fair 2024, offering readers the opportunity to explore a diverse selection of books and periodicals until July 14th. The event held in Neyveli has attracted a multitude of publishers, authors and book enthusiasts from across the region. Attendees can browse through a vast array of genres, including fiction, non-fiction, academic texts, children's literature and rare collections. You're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for a short break. But after the break, we'll talk of sports. In tennis, Novak Djokovic moves into the 4th round of Wimbledon Open. Former Indian cricket team captain and one of the most iconic names in the sport, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, turns 43. Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Let's turn focus to sports now. Talking of Euro 2024 first, England scored all of their spot kicks to beat Switzerland 5-3 in the penalties to make their way into the semis. Earlier, in a pulsating draw at Dusseldorf, Breel Embolo gave the Swiss the advantage in the 75th minute by scoring off a low cross. However, the advantage was nullified by Bukayo Saka 5 minutes later as he scored a stunner from outside the box. For Switzerland, the spot kicks brought a cruel end to the dream of making into their first ever European Championships semi-final. Meanwhile, in the other quarter-final match last night, Netherlands came from behind to down Turkey 2-1 and set up a Euro 2024 semi-final clash with England. A Stefan de Vrij header and Mert Mulder own goal inside the last 20 minutes wiped out Samet Akeden's first half-opener in the quarter-final and allowed the Dutch to book their place in Wednesday's last four tie in Dortmund. On to tennis, 7-time champion Novak Djokovic moved into the fourth round of Wimbledon Open despite another below-par performance on Saturday. Djokovic dropped the opening set to Alexei Popyrin. However, the 37-year-old Serb stayed on course for a record 25th Grand Slam title with a 4-6, 6-3, 6-4, 7-6 win to set up a clash with Danish dynamo Holger Rune. The players on court also feel the energy of the crowd as they reacted not to his match against the England football team's match against Switzerland. And in women's singles, world's top-ranked player Iga Swiatek suffered a shocking defeat in a third-round encounter on Saturday as Yulia Putintseva of Kazakhstan mounted an impressive comeback to secure victory. Initially, Swiatek seemed to be in control, comfortably claiming the first set without exerting much effort. However, her performance took a drastic turn for the worse in the subsequent sets. Putintseva capitalized on Swiatek's sudden decline, breaking the Polish player's serve twice in both the second and the third sets. Former Indian cricket team captain and one of the most iconic players in the sport, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, turned 43 years old today. Social media has been abuzz with birthday wishes for the star right-handed batsman and wicketkeeper. DD India wishes Captain Cool a very happy birthday.
Off in style, a magnificent strike into the crowd. India lift the World Cup after 28 years. The parties start in the dressing room, and it's an Indian captain who's been absolutely magnificent in the night of the.
All right, that's it in this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR codes now to download. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.